Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Last year, when I first got into ham radio and first started this channel, I did an episode about my top HTs or handheld ham radios. Now that list is a little outdated now. Some of these models aren't there, some of them still around. So I want to do a new version for 2022, 2023. So stick around to see what stayed around and what's new and what's changed. That's right here, right now on Ham Radio for Non-Techies. Welcome back to Ham Radio for Non-Techies, guys. My name is Scott. My call sign is KI5MPL, and I run the Ham Radio for Non-Techies channel, where we try to simplify the ham radio hobby to get you guys to study for and pass your exams, get you on the air as quickly as possible as a licensed ham operator. Anywho, as I was saying, I did this video about a year ago, talk about my top HT picks. And since then, a lot of stuff has changed. We had the pandemic going on. We had the supply chain issue. We had, the semiconductor and chip shortage. All these things have factored in, and some radios just became obsolete, and they're no longer either you have to buy them used if you can find one, or the manufacturer has discontinued the support for them. So I wanted to update the list, and I left out some stuff in the last time because of my newness to the hobby. I didn't know as much as I thought I did. So I've updated this list now with some more features or more radios that I think you guys would be interested in if you're looking into HTs. Now, I mean, who's on the market for an HT? Obviously, if you are a brand new tech, an HT is probably going to be your first radio. It was one of my first radios, and I still keep them around. I don't use them as much. They're more for like just doing local ham radio work or getting on the local repeater, or if I'm out with other hams out somewhere, we need to communicate like in a park or something like that. I use it for mainly that kind of stuff. I very rarely use it for anything else, but you'll find other uses for them if you get one. There's lots of different radios out there with different features, and most of them are going to be dual band, 2 meter 440 type radios, but some of them might have extra things that they do as well, like maybe DMR or doing APRS or maybe System Fusion or D-Star. There's other features that come in radios, but that also comes with a certain price tag. So what I try to do is I'm trying to find stuff. I'm still trying to stick to my my mantra of buy once, cry once. And I'm not going to promote the really crappy, or not crappy, the cheaper radios that you can get. And we all know the names. $30, $35 jobs, they're okay. And if you want a trashy little throwaway radio, fine, whatever. And I know it's probably going to stick in the craw some people. That's fine too. But I would say if you're going to spend your hard-earned money, especially now with money not growing on trees, and we want to still have fun with the hobby and have fun with ham radio and be able to get the things we need, you need to take in consideration what you're spending your money on. Don't just go out to like Walmart and buy a freaking radio. Take the time, research what you want in a radio, and find out what the price point is, what price point you're looking at. And if you find a radio that's maybe just like $10 or $15 or $20 more, why not wait the extra week to get the one you really, really want rather than settling for what you can get right now? There's no race in any of this. And I'd rather you have a quality radio and be happy with it and have something maybe it has more features than you might use right now, but something you can grow into later on. And so, if that happens, you don't have to buy another radio. You already got a radio with the future features that you may want, and grow into it. So let's pop over to my desktop real quick. I'm not gonna make this really long. The last one thing I went through all the specs on this. You guys are, you can do your due diligence. You can look up these links. The links for everything is down below. It's on my kit.co site that I've got listed, and I have updated all the radios on here for the new HTs that I would choose in 2022. So popping over to the desktop. So this is my kit.co list. I've got it listed by mobile radios, base stations. I think I've got on here, of course, obviously the handheld HT radios. I think I got some other stuff. That's like 3 or 4 lists. But the one we're really focusing on today is going to be the HT rigs. Now, like I said, when I did this before, I had actually overlooked a couple radios because of my ignorance. I might have still overlooked some. But this time it's not out of ignorance. This is out of, I don't want to list 10,000 radios, make it more confusing than it already is for some of you that are just getting licensed and going, hey, which radio do I get? I've had a couple commenters comment on my video this week. Actually, just a couple minutes ago, I had somebody ask about they just got their technician license. They're looking at a FT-60 or FT-65 radio, and wanted to know if that was within their license privileges. And I'm here to tell you, anytime you guys have any kind of an issue where you are wondering what your license will allow you to do, you can always go over to my website. It's over here, hamradiofornontechies.com. Let's pop over real quick. Under Ham Radio 101, down the bottom of that submenu is a thing called Ham Frequencies by License. So on here, you can see I have it set up as Technician, General, and Extra. And looking down the Technician, here's all the privileges you have on whatever particular bands there are, and what privileges you have on those bands. So in the 140, the 2 meter and 440 space, you have CW and phone privileges on these frequencies, and down here on the 70 centimeter, which is 420 to 450 megahertz, you have all privileges on there, meaning phone, voice, and so on and so forth. So anytime you have a question about that kind of stuff, go reference the website. That's what it's built for. It's built for you. It's not for me. I made the site. So if you need a reference on things, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. I've packed this entire site with all kinds of killer references for you guys. Anyway, enough of the preaching. Let's go back to the list. So the list that I've got here, the cheapest one I'm looking at, or one of the cheapest ones, is going to be the Yaesu FT-2980. Great little beginner radio. There's no bells and whistles. It's very, very basic, but it is a dual band, 2 meter 440 radio, and you'll be fine with it. I think it runs about $89. An upgrade from that is going to be the original, the Yaesu FT-65, which is similar. It's 144, 440. A couple more bells and whistles than the FT4XR, but it's just, you got to look at the specs and see what it has. If you want to upgrade from that, then you have the FT70, which I believe that one's running about maybe oh god, I don't even know now. I think it's like $100. Let me see. Oh, $175. So this one probably has a couple more features to it than the FT65. But now you're gradually getting up there in your prices. So that's the Yaesu line. As far as the inexpensive Yaesus, and I don't know. I really don't consider that FT70DR to be something very inexpensive. I believe that one also has, though. I think that also might have system fusion or some kind of other premium feature built into it. That's something you just have to look at and figure out if you're really interested. The next line here is one of my favorites, which is the Wouxun line. And I first started off, you go back and watch that original video I did, I was using the Wouxun KG-UV8D+. I still have that. I've got 2 of those now. I bought one for me, and I liked it so much, I got one for my wife when she got her license. Still a great radio. Nice big, not a color screen, but it's nice clear screen. You can see both bands. You can have the top band set for one frequency and the bottom band set for another frequency. Really, really cool radio. It's got a lot of features built into it. But then they've gone up and they've improved on that one, and they've made what's called the KG-UV9P, which is a high-power dual band. I think it runs at 7 or 9 watts or something like that. It's got some crazy power output that's a little bit higher than the UV8D plus. Again, this is going to have all kinds of features in it that you may think that you might want to look at. And I don't know if I've got. Oh, I do have that one up here. So here's that one. That runs 149. So the KV-UV8D is still 109. And by the way, buy two-way radios is where I get a lot of these Wouxun radios. I haven't seen any other big manufacturers or retailers out there carry the Wouxun line. Of all the Chinese radios out there, I believe these are some of the highest quality ones that are just really, really good and not really spoken about a whole lot. Very rugged radios. When you get it in your hand, you'll understand it's a very, very nice radio. Great screen. The menu systems, it's okay. I mean, it's like any other menu system. It's got some little bit of a learning curve to it. But anyway, the KV-UV8D Plus at $109.99, that's about what I paid for mine, I believe, if not exactly what I paid for mine. They're still in stock, and that has survived the list into 2022. The KV-UV9P, this one is now $149. So if you wanted the added features that this has, and this has a larger battery. This comes with a 3,200 milliamp hour battery, so that's really nice. And let me just we'll get to it here in a second. You want something with good battery power, something that's going to be able to last long. You want something that has an actual on-off switch, not just a button. And I found there's reasons for this, which I'll get into here in just a second. But this is a really cool little radio. If you want the upgrade from this one, now, the KV-UV8H, this is $159. And the cool thing about this is it has a color display with dark and light modes. So if you're working at night, I mean, I don't know how many of us go outside at night working a radio, but if you happen to be doing that, you can put it into dark mode, and you'll see the screen as you see it on the or as you see it here on my desktop. It's got a nice dark mode type screen to kind of keep the light minimal. You can switch it over to the regular screen, which would look closer to something like this, and have that on there. So I think that's kind of a cool little feature. Is it worth the extra $10? In my opinion, yeah, I think so. It's probably worth the extra $10. Okay, so we've covered these three radios here. That's the KG UV8H and the KV UV9P and the KG UV8D+. Still great radios. Like I said, I've got two of these. I might actually go out and get one of these down the road just because I like that extra feature and some of the other stuff that it does. Scrolling down a little bit, we go into Bridgecom. So with Bridgecom, I've actually got to take that first one out because the new upgraded version, which is the D878UV2 Plus, is a really cool little radio. Now we're getting into not only 2-meter 440, we're also getting into DMR and digital radio. So if you're interested in something like that, I think you might have an interest in that. The Anytone might be the way to go for you because it has those features built in. And of all the radios here, I've played with a couple Anytones. You want to talk about a radio that has a speaker that'll blow your eardrums out? This thing is loud. You gotta be real careful with that volume knob. It's pretty loud. And I believe this comes, you get this as a kit. And let me just point out something else. You see the links down here for Amazon, Newegg, Walmart, all that kind of stuff. Shop around. Again, check out, if you want to get the Anytone radios, you might be better off getting it from Bridgecom because they also have package deals where you get all kinds of extra stuff with it, and including their tutorial schools, little DMR university kind of thing. So you might get a better deal that way. Amazon is not always the best place to go, and actually most of the time it's not a good place to go to buy radios because they're not going to be in line with the current prices that you get from the retailers like Gigaparts, Ham Radio Outlet, and so on and so forth, DX Engineering. So if you're looking for something like that with a digital radio, Bluetooth, all those extra bells and whistles, this might be something to look into. I think it runs about $350. Coming down to the last radio here, this is the Yaesu FT-2980. This is the replacement and upgrade from the FT-3DR, which is the one that I've got. I've been very happy with my FT-3DR to a point. And going back to when I was asking you, if you're going to get a radio, make sure it has an actual on-off button. I hate to admit this. I was using this for a prop for a future show. I bought a Baofeng. I've got a UV5R Baofeng. I have it charged up. I have my FT-3DR charged up. I can charge them at the same time, have them full charge, take them off the charger, play them for a couple minutes, and turn them off. Well, what happens is, because, and I don't know why Yaesu does this, I don't know what was so hard about putting an actual on-off switch to conserve battery power, because it just has a little depressive button you put on there. Yeah, the radio turns off, but there's still some kind of small current running through, and the battery drains. The battery power on a $35 Baofeng lasts longer than the battery on a $500 Yaesu. That's ridiculous to me. So anyway, there are features on the FT-5DR that you're not going to get, obviously, with the Baofeng or any of these other radios, including you're going to get C4FM, System Fusion. You get all the weather channel stuff. You get the 2-meter 440. It's got APRS. There's all kinds of features packed into it. Nice, big, bright, beautiful color touchscreen. But you're looking at 400. What was my notes here, real quick? Yeah, the FT-5DR, the cheapest price I found is $459. If you're going to spend that kind of money on HT, you're now getting into the price bracket of buying like an FTM 400 XDR, which is a mobile 2-meter 440 radio that does System Fusion and does APRS, all these other little features, but it's in a much bigger rig and it's running at 50 watts. So you really got to see what your budget's going to handle, what you want to spend on a radio, what features you want. If I had a choice, I mean, obviously you're not going to walk around carrying an FTM 400, but is this thing worth $450? That's circumstantial. I mean, I think that's really up to you and what your budget will tolerate. I mean, it's got some great features. I love my FT-3DR. Don't get me wrong. I do love it. I just hate that I have to spend a lot of time charging it because I don't use it enough to where I can keep it, off and then come back and hopefully the battery's reliably charged. But it does get really good sound, gets really good reception. I've used it on the repeaters around here, and no matter where I am with that, once I did the antenna upgrade and the adapter for the radios, it made a major difference. Which, bringing that to my topic here, I've talked to you guys about replacing. All of these radios here come with SMA connectors, or at least most of them do. There might be one or two that don't, but the majority of these all have SMA connectors for the little rubber ducky antenna they come with. My biggest thing with you guys is, first thing you do when you buy this radio, immediately figure out what kind of antenna connection it has and go out and get these B and C connectors that goes from SMA to B and C, because the threads on your SMAs will eventually wear out. If you're, I mean, you may not be changing lots of antennas from time to time. You might put one antenna on, never touch it again. Fine, great, keep it the way it is. But if you want to experiment with other antennas, like when I built that little 2-meter antenna a couple years ago, or last year, making the antenna out of Walmart hangers, you know, I want to be able to connect that up. I was glad I had that B and C adapter on there, so I could just pop it right in and boom, I'm done. So definitely consider getting some BMC to SMA connector adapters. Have those on hand. That way, if you want to switch out antennas, you then come down here and pick up one of these diamond antennas, which has the BNC connector, pop it in, snap it on, done deal. If you want to switch it out, you pop it off. It makes it a lot easier to switch out antennas if you want to, and it'll preserve the life of the radio and that actual SMA connector by having that thing just stuck on there. That's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, I only made a couple changes since the FT3DR is no longer available. The FT5DR took its place. You have that as an option, although it comes at a hefty price. Added in the Bridgecom 878 UV2 Plus. Great little radio if you want to get into DMR. I'm really impressed with the Wouxun KV-UV8H. I really don't know why it is. I've got a thing for this screen right now. I really like that screen. I like the idea it has a dual mode, or dual brightness screen. And yeah, so you got a lot of cool things here. I did at the very bottom, just for the B-Tech, which is basically a repackaged Baofeng. I've got that on there. If you really want something super cheap just to get in the radio, if you're really on the fence and just have no idea if you're really going to be getting into ham radio and don't want to make a big investment, $35 or $30 for this thing might be the way to go. I think it says on here it was $69, but let's see what it runs now. I'm going to click on it real quick because I'm not sure what the actual price these days is. Oh, so it's still $69, $70. Honestly, unless there's something super special about the B-Tech version of this, it's just a Baofeng repackaged as B-Tech. There might be a couple little things it comes with. There might be some stuff on the internally that they've done to it, but I'm not sure if it's $35 worth of stuff. So if you're going to go after anything, you might want to just go stick with the Baofeng UV5R or something like that. But again, I don't really want to promote those radios. I think they're cheap. If you have something, if you want to have a radio on you and you think there's a chance, like say you're rock climbing and there's a chance it might, your radio might fall off, I wouldn't bring a $500 Yaesu. All right, I'd bring a Baofeng with me and have a good antenna on there. And if something happened and it fell off my belt and hit the rocks down below, so be it. I lost $25, $30, not 500. So, it's going to be a personal choice here. I can't make the decision for you. All I can do is bring you the information in the best manner, in the most accurate manner, and you need to go off and do your own due diligence to figure out what it is you want to get. Now, the most popular radios out there, the popular radios are going to be the Yaesus. People like these. They're simple. There's no bells and whistles. You might be into that. You might want something a little more upgraded, a little more oomph to it. Then I'd go maybe with the Wouxuns. If you want to go up from there, then you got these radios. So I try to keep it tiered in a way that would allow you to make your best decision. Anywho, that is the updates for 2022. What do you guys think? Would you guys agree with this? You have some other radios you think were left off that should have been on here? Put the comments down below. I like to see what you guys think. That helps me to produce new shows and figure out what it is you guys want. The idea behind this channel is to help you guys. I can sit here and come up with all kinds of things that I think are important, but I'd like to rely on what you guys think, what you guys want, and that's what helps me to produce the shows, so I can not only help you out, but help out other people that might be thinking the same thing. And that's been working pretty well so far, and I hope that you guys are happy with my performance and what I've been doing for you on this channel. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It really, really does help out the YouTube algorithm. It helps to show my video to more people that are into ham radio videos. It really helps out the channel as well. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds. Hit the subscribe, click on the little bell, and be notified when I do new videos. Until then, guys, my name is Scott. My call sign is KI5MPL. This is Ham Radio for Non-Techies, and we are clear.